a thought on the Parsha. So this week, the Parshat Chayei. And after 3 weeks that we learned and studied the story of Avraham Avinu, the days of Avraham come to an end. Ve'ele yemei shnei chayei Avraham, asher chai 170 shana v'chamesh shonim. Vayigva ve'yomes Avraham b'seivetoi v'zoken v'saveya ve'yosef el amav. And we start reading the story of Yitzchak Avinu. Did it ever occur to you, interesting phenomena, the story of Avraham Avinu is told in great length, 3 parshiyos, Lech Lecho ve'Yero Chayei. The story of Yaakov Avinu is told in great length and very detailed, 3 parshiyos, told us Vayetze ve'Yishlach. But we don't learn a lot about Yitzchak Avinu. And Yitzchak seems to be a bridge between the first of the Avos and the last of the Avos, Avraham and Yaakov. We know very little about Yitzchak Avinu. The end of Chayei, the beginning of Parshas Toldos. And it told us we already learned the story of Yaakov and Esav. Why is that? It's interesting. Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov symbolize many things, primarily in the Zohar. Torah, Avodah, Gemelos, Chosodim. But al pi Kabbalah, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov are Chesed, Gevura, Tiferes. Eser Sfiros were the foundation, the basis of creation. Keser Chochmo Bina, Chesed Gvura Tiferes, Netzach Hod Yesod Malchus. The top 3 belong to Olam Atzilos. We know nothing about Atzilos. That is too high. The other 7 are indicative. They are keneged the 7 giants of Yehadus. Chesed Gvura Tiferes, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. Netzach Hod Yesod, Moshe, Aaron, Yosef HaTzadik. And Malchus is David Melech Yisrael. So Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov are Chesed, Gevura, Tiferes. Chesed is Chesed, Midas Orachamim. Gevura is Midas Adin, Pachad Yitzchak. Tiferes, according to the Mekabolim, is the synthesis between Chesed and Gevura, between Rachamim and Din. Tiferes brings them together. And that is Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. So Rachamim is Ispashtus. Din is Tzimtzum. And that is obviously why we don't know much about Yitzchak Avinu. Yitzchak is Nizgav V'Ne'elam, wrapped up in Midas Adin, in Hester Ponim. However, it's a fascinating study. B'soif hayomer la'osed lavai, we will be zoichet to the Gura Shlema only in the merit of Yitzchak Avinu. And that's a fascinating Gemara Shabbos Peitas Amud Beis. In the end of days, Kodesh Baruch Hu will come to Avraham Avinu, and he will tell him, Chatu Bonecha. And how do you think Avraham Avinu will respond? Yemachu al Kedusha Shimcha. Destroy them. Frightening. And Avraham Avinu, Kodesh Baruch Hu will not be happy with that response. And Kodesh Baruch Hu will say, Avraham obviously doesn't know what Sar Gidl Bonim is. Let's go to Yaakov Avinu. He experienced Sar Gidl Bonim. He knows what it is to suffer and be pained and worry for your children. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu goes to Yaakov Avinu with the same message, Chatu Bonecha. They have sinned. It's shocking. Yaakov Avinu responds the same way as Avraham. Yamachu al Kedusha Shimcha, destroy them. They should be erased. And then HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Lo b'sava tame, velo b'dardike eitzo. Avraham is too old, Yaakov is too young. Let's see what Yitzchok Avinu has to say. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes to Yitzchok Avinu with the same words, Chatu b'necha. How does Yitzchok respond? Bonei heim v'loi bonecha? Why do you tell me my children have transgressed? They're not mine. They're yours. Do you remember Moshe Rabbeinu after Chet U'Egel? Moshe Rabbeinu says, are they my children? Yitzchak protests. He's taken aback. And he tells HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you are the one that said, B'ni b'choiri Yisrael. They are your children and not mine. And then he starts making his arithmetic, his mathematics. How long is the life of a person? 50% of the time he's asleep. He whittles it down, and then he says, Palga olai v'palga alach. So Yitzchak argues, Rabbeinu Shalom, it's your call and not mine. They are your children and not mine. But I am willing to volunteer and take upon myself 50% of all their transgressions and all their sins. And we wonder, Yitzchak is midas adin, and Avraham is midas orachamim. Avraham is harsh, and he says, Yemochu al kedusha shimcha. We expect Yaakov to take our side because he is the synthesis, the combination, bringing together din and rachamim. No, to no avail. Pachad Yitzchak. Kol kuloi gvurois, midas adin. He is the one that stands up for us. This is a fundamental yesod that we learn from the Gra and many others, Megadola Mikubonim. Siddur Gra. Ashri Avorotzian, Bigvurois Yesha Yeminoi. There seems to be a contradiction in this pasuk. Gvurois is den, Yemin is Rachamim, Samol Doiche Yemin Mekareves. Bigvurois Yesha Yeminoi. The greatest Rachamim are the ones that are inspired and go out of Midas Hadin. And the Gaon explains that is why. We say, Machal kel chayim bechesed in Birchas HaGvurois. Second broch of Shmoneh Esrei is called and defined Birchas HaGvurois. Gvuras Gishumim. And that is where we say, Machal kel chayim bechesed. So the Gaon explains the biggest and the greatest Rachamim, the manifestation of Midas HaRachamim is Al Yedei Midas Hadin. And that is the reason Yitzchok Avinu is the one. At the most difficult of times, Avraham fails, Yaakov fails, Pachad Yitzchok. And Yitzchak is the one that ultimately will say, Palga alai v'palga alach. So as we say goodbye and farewell to Avraham Avinu and we start learning about Yitzchak, it is time to hope and to pray and to daven. Let us hope that B'Korah B'Yameinu HaKadosh Baruch Hu will come to Yitzchak and Yitzchak will say, Bonechu heim v'loi bonai, b'ni b'choiri Yisrael, palga alai v'palga alach. And we will be zeicha to the Geula Shalem. In the schus of our Avoseinu HaGedoshim, Kodesh Baruch Hu should remember Chazdei Avos, schus Avos, bris Avos, ubeglal Avos, Toshia Bonim v'Savi Geula Libnei B'neiim, B'mheira v'Yomeinu Amen. Have a beautiful Shabbos.